heads up, there is some spoilers in this video. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you should probably not watch this and go see The Last Jedi and then watch my video. It would make sense. Hey guys, Keeks here, and today I'm going to be talking about the highly anticipated film of 2017, Star Wars, The Last Jedi. And it's a great movie. This is a movie that you definitely will have fun with. This is a fun, entertaining, blockbuster movie that is The Last Jedi. And I think that's what every single Star Wars movie has done best, is basically capturing the fun of Star Wars. What I thought about the characters, what they did in this one. It's basically an improvement. The performances were pretty good. Daisy Ridley as Rey was still fantastic. John Boyega as Finn, pretty good. Poe Dameron, awesome. And the greatest performance I felt like, well, actually at least three of the greatest performance I really enjoyed in this movie were first going to have to be Adam Driver's Kylo Ren. He was very complex. He was interesting in this one. You kind of felt more to him than you did in The Force Awakens. I feel like they did an extra job writing his character and having him go into a very strange and interesting route that I'm looking forward to in the next installment in the series. The other one was Carrie Fisher as Leia Organa, which this is actually her final role. Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. She was a very fun character to watch in the movie, in The Last Jedi. And then comes the last but best performance in this movie was Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. This is probably the best portrayal of Luke I've seen in any of the Star Wars movies. I feel like the character of Luke Skywalker really improved on this one. Mark Hamill's performances, I mean, they really, really improved. I really digged into it, and this is basically his movie. This is This is like how in Force Awakens, how Harrison Ford's Han Solo was the big star of the movie. This is the big star of The Last Jedi. Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker, and he did an excellent job portraying one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. And I really felt with this character. He was a very developed character that you understood and had a very question too about of what he believed in with the Force. And I liked how they delved deep into the Jedi lore, but they didn't delve too deep, which was also another issue I really had with this movie. Was I feel like they just could have. I really wanted them to go deeper into the mythology of the Force. They did at certain points. I know with Luke training Rey, there was a really great moment they had there, and those were the best moments of The Last Jedi. Was the moments where they showed Luke training Rey, or Rey and Luke on the island, just was one of the best moments to follow, because you begin to question who Rey is or what she is, and so far all we know is that here's some spoilers talks. All we know about Rey now in the sequel trilogy is that she is nobody. She was raised by nobody. Her parents were nobodies, and that's all we know. She's not a Skywalker. She's not a Kenobi. She's not the daughter of Darth Sidious or the Emperor. She's neither of those. And she's not even related to Supreme Leader Snoke, which I actually had a theory that she might have been, but they didn't explain that at all about Snoke's character. And the thing I had a problem with Snoke's character is that they didn't really explain who he is or what his purpose is. All they know is that he basically persuaded Kylo Ren to the dark side and knows how to do the Force, but we don't know who he is or what he is. And Kylo Ren actually kills Supreme Leader Snoke. And that was actually a very surprising and shocking moment. I was just like, whoa, he actually killed him. And I thought he was going to come back to life with the Force, or maybe in Episode 9, I don't know yet. But he literally just killed him off instantly, which was led to a pretty cool ass action scene with Rey and Kylo Ren fighting the Knights of the Ren, who basically look like the Emperor's, kind of look similar to the Emperor's guards in Return of the Jedi. but they had a really cool fight scene that was really one of the highlights of this movie was that combat scene. Any moment where, by the way, any moments where a lightsaber ignites or a lightsaber moves or just anything with a lightsaber, those are really the best moments I feel in any Star Wars movie. And I know Rogue One did not have any, and I just that's the reason why I didn't feel with Rogue One than I did with the newer movies. It's just that spark of a lightsaber just gives an exciting feel in my stomach. I had this when I first saw Star Wars as a kid. I just love whenever a lightsaber just ignites and has a purpose in every shot of the film. And I feel like in this movie, it does. Every lightsaber had a purpose. It had a lot of interesting, cool purposes, especially how we learned about how Kylo Ren turned into the dark side, which I wish they went deeper into that part of the film. Is deep into Kylo Ren's training along with the other apprentices with Luke Skywalker. I wish they went more into that. Like they could have like shown how he arrived at his progression of training. And one of the big surprises that I had a major mixed feeling about was Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker dies, or he ascends, or something like that. He kind of basically dies the same way as Ben Kenobi did in A New Hope, where he just vanishes, or how Yoda died in Return of the Jedi. He just vanishes. But the scene before that was a bit interesting and confusing because I was like curious on why. Because before Luke uses his original blue lightsaber to fight Kylo Ren, and before that scene, Kylo Ren and Rey were fighting over that lightsaber, and it just split. And Rey, we didn't get to see what happened. Okay, so never mind. I'm back to the main part. The lightsaber just basically shattered, and Luke came out with the lightsaber and it looked perfectly fine, and starts fighting Kylo Ren, which that lightsaber fight was fine, but it wasn't as good as the highlighted saber fight before that. And it was like, I was a bit confused. I'm like, why does he look different? Did he shave before he went here? Like, he was like, I thought he was like all like messed up or whatever, but like he looked different. And then we find out that it wasn't actually Luke. It was actually some kind of like force kind of like projector of Luke, not actually him. He just basically created himself through the Force. And then Luke climbs on a rock and just like looks tired and exhausted, like he used all of his Force energy. And then looked at the two sunset. Now that was a really powerful moment. Was Luke looking at the two sunset and play that iconic song from A New Hope. I really felt that was one of my favorite moments from A New Hope. Was Luke looking at the sunset because it gave me a hope of like dreaming what I want to be someday. It was a very great moment, and they showed that, and it kind of represented Luke's conclusion to the Star Wars saga. Like, this is the end of Luke's journey. Like, this is like the end of Luke. But I was just really shocked that Luke actually died in this one. But then I realized afterwards that this every single Star Wars movie in the new trilogy has a celebrity representing everyone, like how I said before with Harrison Ford. It was The Force Awakens with Han Solo, and then this one is Mark Hamill with Luke, and then Episode 9 was supposed to be Carrie Fisher with Leia, but now that Carrie Fisher has passed away, we're unsure what's going to happen with Leia in Episode 9, now that Luke's dead. And it concluded when most of the Resistance members escaped on the Millennium Falcon, and they flew off, and we don't know what happened to them. Oh, and it showed like a really quick shot of a kid that Poe and Rose helped a bit earlier, which I'll talk about that scene afterwards, but they rescued him at their little side mission, which honestly, I feel like that side mission kind of just dragged on. I mean, I was kind of interested in the world that they were in, but just like, it was just kind of like, oh, this needs to be an important moment in the movie in order to progress, which I just couldn't figure out the progression of what this sequel trilogy is going towards, because it was not what I expected in The Last Jedi. It did not reach my expectation. I did not know Supreme Leader Snoke was going to die. I didn't know Luke was going to die. I thought something was going to happen with Rey going to the dark side and Kylo Ren joining the good side again, but that never happened. It's still the same thing. Kylo's in the dark, Rey's in the light. And also, And Luke, I guess, is just in the middle, but they really never really got deep into Luke's dark side, except for the fact that he almost tried to kill Ben Solo before he turned into Kylo Ren. Before that moment, he was going to try to kill him, but then realized, because he thought he had dark or fear or hatred inside of him, he wanted to banish it. And so then all of a sudden, he like looked at him with the saber and found a way to defend himself, and that just was rage, and that was basically it we saw in the flashback. I really wanted to explore more. I really wish they explored more of Kylo Ren's background being trained by Luke Skywalker in the temple, because that really would have progressed Kylo Ren's character even more than what we've seen with his character being the new Supreme Leader since he killed Supreme Leader Snoke. But now I guess it's kind of like what's going on with them. It's kind of like them repeating Empire Strikes Back, you know, where the good guys lose in the end, the bad guys win, kind of. I don't know. Maybe they did. Who knows? And I guess the episode 9 is going to be similar to Return of the Jedi, which in The Last Jedi, there were no similarities with Empire Strikes Back, other than the fact that the good guys lost and the bad guys won. That was the only thing that was very similar to this movie. Was just that. But Episode 9, I really don't know where they're going to go with this. I hope they jump like a few years forward instead of just having it end right from there, like how they did with Force Awakens being the ending and having it being also the beginning of The Last Jedi, how Rey meets Luke and stuff. I hope this one they jump a few years later, explore more of Rey's backstory, and question who the fuck is Supreme Leader Snoke or something like that, because I feel like he was just a wasted character alongside this other character, Laura Dern, one of the newer characters, which Laura Dern, I feel like I didn't really like. She did a good job performing. She had a great performance. I didn't really like her character. She's just that one character that just has to go kamikaze or suicide on the mission, and people thought she was the bad guy or was the traitor, but was not. Another thing that I had mixed feelings about was the character Rose. Now, at first, I really cared for her because she like lost her sister, but then just like the story, I guess it was just a story that she and Finn were placed into, just felt like filler in a way in order for the story to progress. But like, it's just that she's just this other character named Rose, and she's just there because her sister died in the very beginning of the film, and that's like the connection. And then she explained more about her backstory, how her and her sister were sold into slavery, and then afterwards, I guess like they escaped it. I don't know, but she's like, and she basically is now in the same position as Finn from the ending of The Force Awakens, where Finn basically got damaged by Kylo Ren, and then in The Last Jedi he wakes up from the damage. They're probably going to play that off. I bet you they are. I was a bit kind of pissed that they were getting together because they kiss, but I don't know if that's true or not. I guess the whole Finn and Poe shipping idea is never going to happen again. We're never going to see Finn and Poe come together, I guess. So I guess that's that. Or maybe episode 9, we got one more, and then we're completely done with the sequel trilogy until Rian Johnson makes a new trilogy, which I don't know where they're going to do with it. And I feel like it's too early for them to explore, which, before I get to the big problem, I want to talk about one performance I really enjoyed was Benicio del Toro's performance. He was the Collector in Guardians of that actor is the Collector in Guardians Galaxy, and he was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp's character Hunter S. Thompson. But his character in this movie, I really liked. He just like felt like he just did a ton of drugs or a shit ton of drugs and just like was like out of it. Like he was like in his own Star Wars world or something. Like he was a pretty fun character to follow along. That was probably the best moment from Finn and Rose's storyline. Was Benicio del Toro's character named DJ. He just was a really cool character. He was probably the best new character in the movie. Hands down. But other than that, I was really disappointed with Luke Skywalker's death. I feel like they could have done it better or saved it for episode 9. I did not want him to die. I'm a big fan of Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and I wish they could have saved him for one more movie. I feel like they could have done something cool with that character, something like that. They could have just. I just wanted more. That was the problem with this movie. I just wanted more, and I feel like they focused too much on the humor and the nostalgia goggles of Star Wars. But they did do an excellent job. They did the best they could with Rey and Luke's storyline, and also falling in love with Kylo Ren's storyline too. Those were probably the best moments from this movie, were those key moments. The whole Resistance side story just was like, oh, they're just being chased by the First Order the whole entire time until they get to that one planet in the end. Like, they're basically just on a ship, like, 3/4 of the movie until the final act. That's all what they're on, I guess. But, I don't know. I wanted them. I feel like they could have been more planets to explore, except for that casino planet that Finn and Rose go to. And that one sand planet, the sand with blood, like sand planet. The planet where the final battle is, I don't know what it's called. And I don't think they said it, but I forgot because I just saw this movie. It's hard for me to progress, but yeah. That sand blood planet they went on, that was pretty cool. And the porgs were pretty cute. I love the porgs. They were the cutest things ever. I feel like a lot of little kids are going to go buy them, or Star Wars fans or girls or whatever. I feel like that's what's going to happen with these porgs. They're just they're the merchandise for The Last Jedi. That's what they are. They're basically like the Ewoks, but less annoying, and actually makes sense for their franchise to have these cute little penguin, whatever they are. I like the porgs. They did not annoy me. They actually were cute, and I love the moments they had with Chewie in the movie. But overall, I feel like Disney is taking over Star Wars too much, where it's basically just similar to Marvel, with it being like funny movies. This one was too funny. I wish it was also a little bit dark too. There were some like dark shot moments, but I just didn't feel that excitement I had with The Force Awakens. It didn't really trigger with me. I didn't was like, oh man, this was a really, really good movie. Like this, I mean, I've grown up with Star Wars my whole life. The New Hope was one of the first movies I saw on VHS. It was the special edition, so, I mean, that's something. But no, I mean, it was I really enjoyed it. And I grew up with Star Wars. I grew up with the prequels. The prequels was when I grew up with a bit more, but I did see the originals first before I saw the prequels.